Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
Very nice. What are you doing now?
Wait a second. Who are you? So, what's your name? Who are you?
My name is Anastasia.
Okay, hi Anastasia. My name is Evan, and we're here in beautiful Bali, in the west coast. Beginning of raining season, so a little bit gloomy, but that's good because it's not that sunny and hot right now.
I agree with you. So first of all, it's nice weather. And
Yeah.
second, we're going to introduce ourselves.
Before that, we need to let people know that we're going to discuss about Bali Real Estate, a little bit about our companies. We're a development real estate company here in Bali, and address some of the common questions that people usually have when they're thinking about investing in Bali in real estate.
Okay, and maybe we should start with some description of your company. What are you doing? Maybe something
point.
about you.
Good point. So, the company, we're a young real estate development company in Bali. We build townhouses, villas, apartments. We are focusing mostly on the west side, west and maybe southwest part of Bali, so around Canggu area. The reason why we're here is because one, it's beautiful. Two, is really developed, has a little bit for everyone when it comes to tourists, and also digital nomads. And it's kind of the epicenter of the island. Even those who visit for a little bit, they're gonna have as a base Canggu, and then they're gonna just travel around. So yeah, this is where we focus. We've been successfully delivering projects the last 2.5 years, and we have more than 27 units that have been delivered. And these units are already generate income for those who bought as an investment or are their second home for those who wanted to move to Bali. So, and that's like a good segue to say that the second, let's say, business unit or business activity of our company is to manage the rentals. So what we typically do is we offer some deals when it comes to real estate. We develop our own projects, and then anyone who buys from us, they can get the villa or the townhouse or whatever they selected, and then just don't have to do anything else. Just let it to us to start running and renting and worrying about maintenance and accounting and who is the housekeeper and the villa manager and the Airbnb moderator. So we just generate income for those who buy villas from us. The goal is to reach as much as possible when it comes to return on investment, to make it as good as investment as possible for those who want it as an investment. And the reality is that most of the people want it for a good mix, to spend a lot of time here, a few months, or a little time here, and the rest to rent it. But that's me ranting. Yeah, so any questions?
So tell us about yourself. Where are you coming from? What's your previous experience? What you bring to the company?
Yeah, so I'm a mining and metallurgy engineer by education. I specialized in geotechnical engineering. Never worked there because I had a second master's degree on geoinformatics. I worked for a few years in this sector, but I really wanted to understand how the whole world works, and I decided to do a Master of Business Administration. So this allowed me to shift from purely doing the technical engineering work to go into the world of business and specifically strategy. So I have worked for a lot of Fortune 500 companies, either in-house on the strategy department or in a consulting capacity, working along with high executives, C-suite executives, presidents of business units. At some point, I felt, it was quite fulfilling, this career. I learned a lot about how to do business around the world. But really my passion was to start up something on my own. And then I really loved Bali because I used to work in the Southeast Asia area sometimes in Jakarta, Kuala Lumpur and around, and I fell in love with Bali because I would spend some of my leisure time here. And I thought, I love the technical part, the engineering. I love, being involved in solving business-related problems. And I decided to start my own company and contribute in this beautiful paradise economy by offering the best deals that I can when it comes to real estate objects. So what I try to do is utilize my technical background, my love for the island, and bring the business thinking that I have gathered, let's say, from my experience of the last few years, and offer something that is quite unique. So this brings me also to my next point, which is why I think I have an edge. We have an edge over a lot of other development companies. We know what we're doing, we understand business, so it's not like I'll build you the dream house no matter how much it costs and all that stuff. I want to create either homes that you don't have to overpay for anything unnecessary, or really lean and to the point investments, again, where your dollar brings as much as possible back. So this is our philosophy, and this speaks also to our values, which is all about being fair, being reliable, and being entrepreneurial. What does this mean, you might think? On the fair side, we want to be fair to the island, we want to be fair to all locals, including our employees, but not only. And then being reliable. If I sell you an object, I want to really deliver 100% of what I said, and that's there's a lot of effort going there into delivering more than what people expect to receive. And when it comes to the entrepreneurial part of our values, it's more about doing more with less. So less resources, less people. This does not mean taking any shortcuts or cutting corners and stuff. It's just like being smart of how we utilize our time, of how we do business, like try to avoid to have too many middlemen, try to avoid to have unnecessary structures within the company. So all the money that our clients pay, are spent well. So that's the idea.
Okay, but development is not only about strategy, but it's also about construction itself. How do you ensure that the construction of your projects is good?
Yeah, and this is a very good point, because it is, I think, one of the biggest problems a lot of developers facing. They have all the willingness, all the sometimes big experience building in other countries, and they come here thinking that they can replicate this. But as you pointed out, construction and quality is a big issue here, because the industry is not mature yet. There's not a lot of very well trained or with vast experience local builders, and you need to use local builders. It's like the least thing you can do to give back to the island, right? And for all sorts of other issues, like it's not easy legally to bring other people work here. But how do we ensure? I have a technical background in engineering, right? So I know what are the major issues that I need to really pay attention to make sure that the construction makes sense. So what we do is we select the land in a wise way, so it's as optimal as possible to receive foundations, to not have a lot of groundwater, because this is a big issue here in Bali. Water, it's like a tropical part of the world. There's a lot of rain, there's a lot of groundwater, so that's one thing. Second thing is the design itself. So we built in a way that's like minimal and robust, so not too many complexities to have too many unknowns on where the water will come in from, where the statics are easily to be calculated, and make sure that the workers can implement the actual construction in a way that ensures integrity of the construction. And the last part, and very important, is we vet with whom we work with. We had to change a lot of times workers or contractors or foremen, because quality is paramount, and not everyone understands the high expectations are clients that come usually from the West, right? So from Europe, from the US or anywhere, from Australia. So yeah, this is the most important part, to choose the right workers. The last few months we have our in-house construction management and quality engineers, and that's a big step, and I think a big edge compared to a lot of other small developers. So this is how we ensure construction quality. Yeah.
So I guess it's a good point that you started with quite small projects to face all the problems that you could meet,
Yeah.
and to get some experience, right?
Yeah.
And getting now to bigger projects with bigger responsibilities, because maybe like there are a lot of developers that come to the market with big projects without having experience. Do you agree with me?
Oh, 100%. And this is like a really good point, because as I mentioned before, there's a lot of amazing companies with amazing portfolios around the world. And then they say, okay, we'll come here, we do things the way we know. Problem is, you need to embrace the local way of doing things here. A lot of these big companies have faced massive delays just because they cannot navigate the local environment, the local working environment. It's a very different way of communicating with workers, dealing with the landlords, dealing with government, and people who don't come with a humble mindset, and they come with a mindset, oh, we are the best, then they really find it really difficult here. So yes, in our case, it was really difficult to begin with. I started not as a company. I started building for myself and for my wife, and we had, we just wanted to receive high-end, good quality villas, and that's why we really spent a lot of time, both me and my wife, to learn about the local market, how to do things here, how to ensure that what is said is actually done. We faced a lot of problems. Like our first villas that are far from perfect, that's for sure. But what I think it was the good aspect of this, one would think, okay, you just wasted money in doing villas. No, it was the best investment ever, because I learned how to actually do business here, how to be humble, how to embrace the local culture and the particularities, how to understand how to communicate and align with locals, which is a big deal, how to be respectful about things that maybe don't resonate with the Westerners. So, for instance, in some cases you cannot build or demolish something if the local village leaders don't agree with, and this could be that they need to wait for the stars to align literally and make a ceremony in order to get the permission to start building. And for some Westerners, this is like, no, we will force our way, we own the land, and therefore we're going to start building, and this creates a lot of problems in the future. So it was really, it was a humbling experience for me, having to first start building my own villas. But this was the most valuable lesson, and that's why I'm very confident that I know how to deliver for clients. Only then I started, building for clients.
Okay, and what are your future plans, taking into account this experience, how you want to utilize it for your future projects?
Yeah, so I started incorporating this logic from day one. Since the moment we were selling to someone, I already had incorporated this logic, which is a constant learning, right? Every day I learn something new here in Bali. It's amazing, but that's the case, and I want to stay humble. I want to stay with open-minded and with this mindset of, a kid-like mindset. Let's learn, embrace, understand. Even if it doesn't make sense, something, if this is how things run here, I want to embrace this. I want to accept it and not try to, force my way into it. So, and that's the point of, you need to walk before you start running, right? So that's why we didn't start with a huge project and stuff, as you said. We started with a couple of little villas, and then bigger ones, bigger projects. Now we have like 15 unit projects we are delivering in a couple of months. And the next big project is an apartments project here in Beravo Beach, 200 meters from the beach with ocean view. I think it's going to be, kind of the stamp of approval that we're doing things right.
Yeah, okay. And what steps do you do to make sure that your properties are attractive both for investors and rentals?
Yeah, so apart from the apartments project that I will talk about it separately, everything else we spend a lot of time to find land that it's kind of sitting in the intersection of being amazing for someone who wants to live their life there, but at the same time really good for someone who is coming and wants to enjoy everything that Canggu has to offer. What does this mean? We typically select locations that are like not more than 10-15 minutes away from the beach, and this is where everything happens, right? The clubs, the restaurants, everything is close to the beach. So our properties are close enough to the beach, yet outside of the crazy traffic that sometimes Canggu experiences. So best of both worlds, because you want to have a relaxing experience either as a person who lives here or as a person who just comes to Bali to relax, you have it. If you are a person who wants to party all the time and stuff, great. You have a quiet place that you can sleep and relax, yet in 7 to 8 minutes you're close to any of these clubs. So this is how I design. Goes back to the entrepreneurial way of thinking, goes back to my experience on the strategy and business development. It has to be, it works for as many people and uses as possible. When it comes to the apartments skews, I think, closer to those who want it more as an investment. Of course, you can stay there for some time, but it would be harder for someone to call it home for really long term, I would assume, because it's more of a small studios and they're very close to all the clubs and bars and stuff. So yeah, if you're young, you can definitely live there, but someone with kids, probably you want something more spacious and more quiet. So.
And what is your price policy?
Yeah, so my price policy goes back to the fair, right? This is one of our strong values. I'm here to make money. It's a for-profit company, sure, yes, but I'm not here to profiteer over anything else or be on the greedy side. I'm here to make a name and by offering something that adds value to those who buy anything they buy. So yes, there is profit, but I mean, come on, I've seen crazy things here. Objects that would cost X amount, people go on to sell it for 3X. They try to become like, rich in a span of a year or something. That's not how we work. We want to have a name. I'm more happy to create a respectable portfolio and a name in this industry rather than to just grab some money and that's it. So that's my philosophy. And this is reflected in the prices. Like anyone can compare our prices. We're definitely on the fair side.
I think we should mention some other points like leasehold, years of leasehold, that we're trying to
Correct.
be flexible for different strategies of investment, that also we have flexible payment plan.
Yes.
That ensures that there is no risks for investment.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in the price, whatever it is, which is already fair, it's not about offering something fair as a price and maybe it's not a fair object. So the whole deal, I'm trying to make it a good investment, something that anyone who buys will be happy and really go with word of mouth to tell to their friends, you know what, this was the best investment I ever made, the best decision I ever made. So yes, we offer usually 30 years. The gold standard here in the leasehold is 25 years, but we offer 30. So people have time until the construction is finished. They can already start renting. They can already recoup the majority of their investment back. And then they still have 25 years, hello doggies, to either resell at the gold standard period of 25 years or keep it as a passive income after they got their money back. So yeah, fairness goes not only to the price, goes to I want to be fair to my clients, because my clients is who are those who are going to determine if this company will be here in the next few years, right? So I want to be absolutely fair. I want them to succeed. If they succeed, I'm succeeding. So that's how I look at things.
And how is the payment plan structured?
Yeah, so because we're a small relatively company, can be flexible. We have obviously a recommended, let's say, or a typical payment plan that when we're talking about off-plans villa or off-plans anything that we sell, which means people can buy before we even start building, then we lay out a payment plan that follows the construction progress. This way, the client is, let's say, as an investment, he's safe because he would only pay out after we prove we have achieved what we agreed to deliver. So once, for instance, so I think a typical plan is like they pay a booking down payment and then they pay some percentage once foundation is done. So we send proof the foundation is done. Of course, all documentation on all steps is there, so they can check anything if they're not in Bali. Then the next would be with typically when walls or MEP is completed, so on and so forth. That's a typical plan. Yet we are here we understand that people make investments, and in real life, some people call us, hey, I'm going to have this amount of money unlocked in 6 months. Can I pay something up front now and the rest then? Or some people say, can I give you up front 60% and then we stretch a little bit more the payment period? All these things are a potential yes, depending on the situation and the object. So yes, we're really flexible to accommodate, what works for both. And this is allowed because of the lean structure we have. So there are not too many sales managers that they have to have an aligned policy and SOPs. They go directly to me. I'm the owner. We can discuss their needs. As long as it works for us, I'm happy to be flexible.
And how do you address customer feedback and ensure that you have this continuous improvement?
Yeah, so I think that's the most valuable thing we can have, is to listen to our clients. Like, this is the no matter what I think, no matter what other people perceive, at the end of the day, we are as good as the user experience. If people are happy, then we are happy. And there's always the case that something happens, that we have a small blind spot perhaps or not. We're listening attentively and we are rushing to fix it for the current project, but then incorporate it, make sure we incorporate this on the design of the next project. So this is how it works, and this is how we ensure this continuous improvement, continuous learning, and continuously offering better and better objects to the market.
A lot of people also worry about legal safety. How do you make sure that they won't face any legal problems?
Well, the legal part is a big chunk, right? So let's think about what legal problems they can have. Well, if you're a foreigner, so a lot of people, to begin with, they are unsure if they're foreigners, can they actually invest in Bali? The answer is yes. As a tourist, you don't even need to be, as far as I understand, a tax resident in Bali. I think they amended this law about a year ago, and as a tourist, you're 100% allowed to own property here in Bali. So that's that. When it comes to further the legality, on our projects, we make sure we're 100% transparent. All documents from leasehold titles, from the incorporation of our company, or anything that is needed for anyone to make a decision is released and shared up front. We also recommend people to hire a local lawyer to make sure that we can tell them whatever we want, right? But at the end of the day, just to show how sure we are on our objects, we recommend people to have their own lawyer. We help them, of course, to find if that's something they want. It's not expensive, right? And a third party can really do this due diligence and really check that everything we do is according to law.
Yeah, I would maybe mention some exit problems. For example, zoning. I know there are some cases of building in green
Correct.
areas or something like
Yeah.
this. Or for example, when the land is not fully paid, so we provide also all documents, all receipts, so that we fully
Exactly.
paid for the land. There is no risk of that, like we don't have money or something like this. Maybe you can mention
Yeah,
something
no,
else?
this is a very good point, and I mean that's why I say the legal aspect is a huge one here. As you said, anything we can sow, anything we have, we will sow. Like as you said, like that we have paid the land. That's not like we did the contract and maybe we stop paying and then the land is confiscated and stuff. The zoning is important. Some people really, some developers say, don't worry, it's like a okay zone is a residential zone, and if it's not, I will change it and stuff. And we have some very notable cases in which people ended up paying for a residential zone villa and turned out to be a green zone villa, which is illegal. So, and unfair. So, yeah, that's why we try to make sure that we are fully transparent, and also we ask our clients if they're not very familiar with how things work in Bali, they should get a lawyer to make the due diligence. It's a small package, takes less than a week, a quick check of all our documents. The local lawyers know what to check and what not, so they are also covered.
Yeah, I would also recommend people to talk directly to local lawyers, because I know there are
Exactly.
some cases that they
Local
ask
lawyers.
for due diligence from lawyers in their countries, and
Yeah.
this completely
They don't know the law, they don't know where are the pitfalls, where they should look at. So a local lawyer is important, and that's why I say we can bring in contact to them if they think that we are biased or something. Yeah, I mean, it's very easy. Bali has a lot of legal companies, like a quick Google search will show you a bunch of companies. It's not expensive, and yeah, people should do this no matter who is the developer they want to go with.
Okay, let's talk about culture and nature in Bali. I mean, there are a lot of arguments nowadays about construction destroying culture and nature.
Yeah.
How do you make sure that your projects are not harmful for making Bali, saving Bali as itself?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously our policy as a company is only build where you're allowed, because as I said, it's a lot of cases where developers bought green and then paid the government. I think it's legal. There is a process to convert it to green zone. We're not encouraging this kind of behavior. We're trying to stay in our lane. We try to, as much as possible, be mindful when it comes to what material we use that are from the region. No need to transport granite from Italy. We will do it, but it's not, let's say, our preference. So we're going for local and regional materials, and that goes also for the furnishing, because for most objects we offer a furnishing package. So for people who don't want to spend time, they just see it as an investment. It's a lot of work, going from the sofa to the beds, the bed sheets, the curtains, the cutlery, everything. We can take this on us, and we just make sure that the money goes back to local community. We buy as much as possible from local artisans when it comes to furniture. The wood is from the region, and we make sure it's not a young illegal wood, but it's the approved one from the government. So anything we can do as far as we can check, we try to do it.
And the last question, why do you think people should buy from you?
So, as I said before, what we're trying to do is to offer the best value for money, and this doesn't mean cheap. Doesn't mean you will spend little money and you will get little back. What we're trying to achieve is you will get a good villa without having to overpay. That's it, not overpaying. I think this is our principle, and the reason why this is our principle is because we want people to buy again and again and again. I'd rather price fairly and have the same investor recouping their money, and after 5 years want to reinvest with me and then again and again, than just price a little bit more and then that's it. They're not happy with the return on their investment. So our only purpose is to make sure we deliver things that people actually want to take back. Either living here and make sure that the villa that they got is flawless. It really serves the purpose, or as an investment that they did not overpay and they're actually having a very good return on their investment.
Okay, so now people understand why buy from you. Maybe you can tell what to buy from you, what current projects you have now.
Yeah, so as of now, which is the 31st of October 2024, we have some beautiful finished villas. Like, it's already finished just a month ago and already rented. This shows, it's a testament how good of a villa it is for investment. It's already rented with high yields in Bayou. It's a 2-bedroom villa with beautiful rice field surroundings. It's a very quiet area, perfect for anyone who either want to relax after the hangover, after the club, or for someone with family that doesn't want noisy things. Yet you're like 10-12 minutes away from Echo Beach and La Brisa Beach Club and all that stuff. And Perenan Beach, yes, obviously. So that's when it's ready. Then we have a townhouse project called Sunrise Bliss. It's 10-15 minutes away from Berava Beach. Very strategic location, very close to Wanderlust Fitness Village and Bali MMA, like 2 minutes drive from there, and also 8 minutes to Batu Balong and Berava downtown. Very quiet, and it's in front of rice fields. So our land is at the edge of the residential area, yellow zone, and beyond that point is a green zone that no one can build. And there's no access road, even if someone wanted to illegally build. So it's amazing opportunities. We have still, out of the 14 units, we have 4 available, and at least 2 of them are rice field, unobstructed rice field view.
Yeah, I think we should add that one of the villa in this project is 4-bedroom.
Correct. We have 4-bedroom variation just in front of rice fields, and all other villas are 2-bedroom configuration. And the next project is the apartments project in Berava Beach. It's literally 200 meters from the beach. From the road you can see the ocean. Is amazing. It's near everything basically. We have 12 apartments there in 3 floors, and it's left, I think,
5.
Sorry.
Yeah.
5 of those are left. One is top floor with 180-degree views. You can even see Uluwatu and Garuda from there. So yeah, these are the next project. If you're interested, you can always reach out to us. If you're watching the video way later than this date, just contact us and see what's on offer.
Yeah. Thank you for the conversation.
Thank you for this nice interview.